So good morning, everybody. We're reading through 2 Samuel 5 and 1 Chronicles 11 and 12. And in this passage, we see that King David and King Saul uh, were never more so different than in their decision making, the way they made decisions. King Saul wouldn't seek out the Lord for instructions, but would receive instructions from the Lord, and then would fail to well, fail isn't the right word. Let's say he he interpreted them. He interpreted those instructions the way he saw was best, which was not what the Lord had intended. So he never carried out the instructions in the way that the Lord had given them, and it led to his absolute failure and death of his sons and family and all the disaster that followed because not following the instructions of the Lord can lead to disaster in many ways. Then you have David, and David didn't do anything without consulting the Lord. He checked on everything. He wouldn't make a decision without running it past Yahweh. And when he received instruction, then he followed it perfectly, exactly what was given to him. And it's that relationship that he had, one of desiring obedience, one of trust. He absolutely trusted Yahweh. In all of his life, he learned to trust Yahweh, that Yahweh was for him, not against him. And there must have been mistakes in there somewhere that David learned that if he didn't follow the instructions, it would lead to disaster. Because we tend to hold on to those lessons. But David learned these things while he was young, and so he, as he grew, this was a staple. This was a key, a core, if you want, a core value for David. Was always consulting with Yahweh and always following those instructions. And we see that David ended up being honored by his men in the same way that he honored God. So the question is, could it be that these men saw this in David and knew it was his heart, and so in turn treated David the same way that they saw David treating Yahweh, that they would honor him. And everybody loved David. They admired David. They looked up to him. And many of them did a lot of wrong things thinking it would please him. They wanted to please him. They wanted to honor him. The difference was they didn't take the time to know David's heart in the way that David took time to know Yahweh's heart. So they would often do the things completely opposite to what David would want to have done. But that's besides the point. It's just amazing to see David's relationship with Yahweh and how he ended up being surrounded by people who had that same relationship with him. That's something to keep in mind. So I just want to encourage you today. Consider this. Where are you with Yahweh? In this North American mindset that we have, it's difficult for us to set aside what we think is best. To set aside, we want to do what we want to do, and we find it hard to stick to the plan. To stick to the plan, to stick to Yahweh's plan, to stick to what He desires. Quite often we just hope that what we desire matches up with what Yahweh desires, with what our Father desires, and we don't necessarily check it out and make sure it does. And when it doesn't, sometimes we twist things and convince ourselves that it's okay. But that's not a heart of love. And that's what the reason why we're supposed to be growing in that love and understanding that love and developing that more, because it's all about the heart matter. It's all about the heart, our heart with our Father. And when we get that heart right, then everything else will follow. You guys be blessed, be encouraged. Have an excellent day. Love you.